Most people are ruled by emotions, reactions, and noise. But the few who rise above, those who walk through fire and don't get burned, are the ones who learn the secret. Act as if nothing affects you. Because when your emotions are no longer the world's playground, you become untouchable. Control is power, and power is silent. Control is the rarest form of power today, not the control over others, but the control over oneself. In a world constantly trying to pull your attention, provoke your emotions and steal your peace, being unshakable is not just a trait, it's a superpower. Look around, people are slaves to reaction. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they explode. A coworker throws a snide comment, and their whole day is ruined. A friend forgets to reply, and now they spiral in self-doubt or anger. This is how the average man lives. This is the default setting of the world. But if you want to rise, you must go against it. You must become as deliberate as not reactive. The truth is, the person who reacts emotionally is predictable, and predictability is weakness. When people know how to push your buttons, they own you. You are no longer in charge. But when you are calm, measured, and silent in the face of provocation, you send a silent message to the world: I am not here to play your game. I am here to mastermind. Think of the most respected people in any room. They're not the loudest. They don't rush to prove their point. They observe, they listen, and they speak when it matters. Their power isn't in how much noise they make. It's in the says weight of their silence. That's real power, unspoken, calm, and undeniable. Take an everyday example. You're at your job. A coworker throws shade at you in a meeting, trying to spark drama, maybe even humiliate you. The room shifts. Everyone waits to see how you'll respond. Most would retaliate, defend themselves immediately, raise their voice. But imagine instead you pause, you look at them, you give a slight nod, and then calmly return to your point without even acknowledging the jab. That's silence. That restraint. That's dominance. Because now the entire room respects you. Not because you won the argument, but because you didn't need to have one. In your personal life, the same principle applies. Maybe you're in a relationship, and someone tries to guilt-trip you or emotionally manipulate you. The old you would feel pressure to fix it, to over-explain, to defend. But when you operate from a place of calm control, you don't bite the bait. You don't dance with emotional chaos. You simply let people reveal who they are while you stand unmoved. And believe me, silence makes people uncomfortable, especially those who depend on chaos. When you don't feed the fire, it dies. Control is also not about suppression. It's about choosing as what deserves your energy. Not everything needs a reply. Not every attack deserves a response. Not every situation requires your presence. Walking away isn't weakness. It's as intelligent restraint. In fact, there's more courage in choosing not to react than in any outburst. It's easy to yell. It's easy to fight. It takes power to remain still. The world respects those who don't react because it shows one thing as self-mastery. It shows you've trained yourself not to give away your emotional currency to just anything. And once people realize they can't control you emotionally, they stop trying to manipulate you entirely. The game ends. So remember, when you control your emotions, you control your direction. When you speak only when necessary, your words land like thunder. When you carry yourself with calm, you become a force. The person who is calm in the storm is the one everyone looks to, not because they're the loudest, but because their presence speaks volumes without saying a word. Don't absorb the chaos. Observe it. Chaos is everywhere. It's in your home. It's in your work. It's in your social media feed. The world is a noisy, unpredictable place. And for most people, the moment something disturbs their comfort, they absorb it. They let it inside. A bad message, a disrespectful look, a missed call, a sarcastic comment, boom, it's in their bloodstream. And now their whole mood is wrecked. Their energy is hijacked. Their focus is gone. But the people who rise above this world of reaction don't absorb the chaos. They observe it. They understand that not everything deserves a response. Not everything deserves their energy. They've trained themselves to see the madness, but not let it control their spirit. Imagine standing on the edge of a storm. You're dry, untouched, while everyone else is soaked and spinning. That's the level of composure you build when you become the observer. You walk into the office and hear the gossip. They're whispering about someone's mistake, judging someone else's choices. The air is full of opinions and drama, just like it always is. Most people jump in because chaos loves company. But not you. You sit back, you listen, but you don't engage. You're there, but you're not her zen in it. That's the difference. You see everything, you hear everything, but you don't become everything. That's discipline. Someone snaps at you on the road, flips you off, honks in rage. The average person would chase it, honk back, shout, "What's your problem?" But why? Why let someone else's bad day become yours? Why carry that weight? You're not a trash can for other people's emotions. You're not a dumping ground for strangers' anger. You keep driving. You observe the behavior, and then let it pass through you, like wind. Because you're built for bigger things. The mind-blowing truth is this: when you observe chaos without reacting to it, you become dangerous. Because now no one can control you. They try to provoke you and fail. They try to shake you and fail. They try to make you feel inferior, small, angry, and fail. Why? Because you're not absorbing. You're not taking anything personally. You've built a wall between your peace and their noise. And every time you choose not to react, that wall gets higher, stronger, more impenetrable. You ever notice how the most powerful people in the room are usually the quietest? It's not because they're weak. It's because they're watching, calculating, observing. They're not wasting their energy on proving their emotions. They're saving it for the real moment, the real move, the right action. Emotionally reactive people are like leaves in the wind. They go wherever the storm takes them. Observers are like mountains, still, grounded, immovable. Your peace is your power. And in a world full of people begging for attention, trying to drag you into their emotional whirlpool, choosing silence is rebellion. Choosing to observe instead of absorb is rebellion. And it's the kind of rebellion that makes you magnetic. People start to notice something different in you. They see you're not shaken by petty insults. You're not bothered by mood swings. You're not dragged into every debate or argument. You have clarity. You have perspective. And suddenly you're not one of them. You're above it. You've elevated. Life is going to keep throwing storms at you. That's guaranteed. But what's not guaranteed is your reaction. That part is yours. And if you can build the habit of watching, not reacting, of standing still while others run wild, you start to win battles without fighting. You start to silence critics without speaking. You begin to glow in a way that noise can't dim. Because now, you're not feeding on chaos. You're simply watching it burn from a distance, untouched, calm, and in full control. Emotion is a tool, not a master. Emotion is powerful. It's raw, it's real, and it can either build empires or burn them to the ground. The truth is, emotion is neither good nor bad. It's a tool. But most people treat it like a master. They obey every emotional impulse without question. They feel angry, they yell. They feel insecure, they lash out. They feel anxious, they freeze. They become prisoners of their own internal storms, reacting to life instead of leading it. But emotion was never meant to control you. It was meant to guide you, not drive you. The person who learns to feel deeply but act deliberately is the one who becomes truly unstoppable. Because while the world is caught in the waves of emotional reactions, that person becomes the captain of their own ship, navigating, not drowning. Imagine you're in an argument with someone you care about. Emotions run high. The words come sharp, the tension thick. Every part of you wants to defend yourself, to interrupt, to win. But you catch yourself, you pause, you breathe. You let them speak, and instead of reacting emotionally, you ask, what are they really trying to say? That's not weakness. That's an emotional mastery. That's strength most people never develop. Every day, people post something on social media and spiral into anxiety because they didn't get the response they hoped for. They feel sad, so they scroll endlessly. They feel jealous, so they compare. They feel lonely, so they chase validation. This is how emotion controls the modern mind. It doesn't scream at you. It nudges you. It whispers thoughts that become habits. And soon, you don't even realize that your emotions have made a home inside your decisions. But when you step back and start asking, is this feeling helping me or hurting me? You start to reclaim control. You start to choose your response instead of being ruled by your reaction. You can feel anger without throwing words like knives. You can feel fear and still take the step forward. You can feel broken but walk like you're whole. Because power isn't pretending you don't feel. It's feeling everything and still choosing your action wisely. Think of a firefighter. They run into burning buildings while the rest of the world runs out. Do you think they're not scared? Of course they are. But their training kicks in. Their discipline overrides the panic. Their mission is bigger than their emotion. That's what you must train your mind to become. In pressure, you don't panic. In pain, you don't flinch. You feel it, you acknowledge it, and then use it to fuel your next step. Let's say you're pursuing a dream. You want to start a business, improve your body, change your life. The first thing that shows up: doubt, fear, insecurity. These emotions don't mean you're weak. They mean you're human. But the difference between those who succeed and those who quit is this: successful people feel those emotions and move anyway. They don't let emotion be the driver. They keep it in the passenger seat. They say, I hear you, but you don't control me. The mind-blowing shift happens when you stop fighting your emotions and start understanding them. Emotions are messengers. They show you where your focus is. They reveal what you care about. They light up what scares you. But they are not commands. You don't have to obey them. You can listen without reacting. You can feel without falling. And when you master that, your life changes, not by force, but by awareness. That's when you stop being a puppet and start being a leader of your emotions, a leader of your life. Dignity is in distance, not reaction. There's a kind of quiet power that doesn't come from shouting, arguing, or trying to prove your point. It doesn't come from making the last remark or winning the debate. Real power, true dignity, comes from distance, from learning when to not engage it, from knowing that walking away doesn't make you weak, it makes you as untouchable. When someone throws shade, disrespect, insults, your silence, your distance, your stillness becomes your armor. Because the moment you react, you're playing their game. The moment you respond emotionally, you've stepped into their arena, and now your energy is under their control. Think about how many times people have tried to drag you into petty arguments. Why didn't you text me back? Who do you think you are? Why are you so quiet? Every question a trap, every statement bait. The insecure crave drama because they can't generate peace within themselves. So they poke, they prod, they provoke. And the second you bite, they win, not because they're stronger, but because they controlled your state. But imagine this instead: someone insults you. Maybe it's online, maybe it's at school, maybe it's in front of others. You feel the heat rising, that pressure in your chest, that voice saying, say something back. Don't let them get away with it. But you don't. You look at them, calm, collected, and you say nothing. You just walk away. Or maybe you give a small smile and say, you must be having a hard day, and leave it at that. That's not weakness. That's high-level awareness. That's the moment you show the world and yourself that your dignity is not for sale. Daily life is full of these moments. You're scrolling, and someone posts something indirect, clearly aimed at you. The old you would fire back, sub-post, text them, argue in the comments. But not anymore. Now you simply scroll past. Because you've learned something most people never do. Asian engagement is energy, and not everyone deserves access to yours. You're in a relationship, and the other person starts the same cycle again. Accusations, manipulation, drama. Before, you'd go in circles trying to explain, trying to fix, trying to be understood. But now, you choose distance, not coldness, clarity. You set boundaries, you don't scream, you don't beg, you simply stop participating. Because sometimes the only way to win is to not play. This is how dignity is built: through restraint, through mastering the pause, through recognizing that people who need chaos will do everything to get a reaction from you, and when they don't get it, it frustrates them, because silence is louder than rage, and peace is more provocative than any insult. You don't need to prove you're right. You don't need to clap back at every critic. You don't need to lower yourself just to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you raise your standards, your circle gets smaller. When you protect your peace, your life gets quieter. But that quiet, that stillness, that's where your power grows. That's where your clarity sharpens. That's where your confidence builds, not by being loud, but by being unmoved. Let others waste their breath in drama. Let them yell into the void. Let them try to get your attention. Your job is to guard your energy like it's gold, because it is. People who respect themselves don't react to everything. They rise above it. They don't chase validation. They carry it. And they don't explain themselves to noise. They protect their throne by staying still, not cold, not passive. Just wise enough to know that reaction is a trap and then distance is a throne. Most people live their entire lives reacting to noise, reacting to hate, reacting to opinions that don't pay their bills or build their dreams. They wake up and immediately hand their peace over to someone else. A stranger's comment ruins their mood. A friend's silence shakes their confidence. A single moment of discomfort flips their entire day upside down. And yet, they wonder why they feel powerless, why they feel directionless, why nothing seems to change. It's because they've forgotten the most powerful truth. Is you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. The most dangerous man in the room is not the one who talks the loudest. It's the one who listens, pauses, and walks away without ever breaking his calm. That's the man who owns himself. That's the man no one can shake. You want to be untouchable. Learn to master your silence. You want to be respected. Learn to protect your peace. You want to be unbreakable. Learn to move with dignity, not impulse. When you stop letting the world press your buttons, the world loses its grip on you. When you stop proving your worth, people start to notice it. When you stop chasing validation, the power shifts. Because people feel it when you've outgrown the need to be understood. They feel it when your peace can't be stolen. They feel it when you carry yourself like you don't need a crowd to feel complete. Let them gossip. Let them judge. Let them throw their stones. You've got mountains to climb. You've got a destiny that can't be delayed by distractions. You don't explain lions to sheep. You don't throw pearls in the mud. You don't slow down to answer barking dogs, you walk. Head high, shoulders back, eyes forward, because greatness doesn't scream, it whispers. And those who can hear it are too focused to be fazed. There is a storm coming for everyone. Disrespect, betrayal, failure, loss, they don't knock. They don't warn you. But when you train your mind to stay calm in the chaos, when you condition your soul to breathe in the fire and exhale stillness, you don't just survive the storm. You become it. Let them feel your silence. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them be disturbed by your peace. Don't waste your power explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Don't water yourself down so others can feel comfortable. Don't shrink so others can feel big. The moment you stop defending yourself, you start elevating. The moment you stop reacting, you start ruling. You were not born to beg for respect. You were born to command it with your presence. And presence comes from control. You are not here to fight every battle. You are not here to win every argument. You are here to build something greater than noise. Legacy. You are here to walk with such power that silence becomes your language and peace becomes your shield. The world will test you. People will try to trigger you. But your silence, your dignity, your emotional discipline, that's your crown, and no one gets to touch it without your permission. Warren Buffett once said, "The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Say no to drama. Say no to emotional traps. Say no to anything that costs your peace. That is your filter now. If it costs you your peace, your dignity, your focus, it's too expensive." As Bruce Lee once said, "Be like water. Water doesn't fight the obstacle, it flows around it. It adapts, but it never loses its power. It bends, but it never breaks. Be like that. Be still. Be powerful. Be sharp without shouting. Move like you've already won, because the man who cannot be triggered is the man who has already mastered the game. And when you master yourself, no one else can. That's where greatness begins, not in war, but in restraint. Not in noise, but in silence. Not in proving, but in knowing. And when you walk like that, speak like that, breathe like that, you don't chase respect, you become it.